italiano, ma solo un po', ma ho una insegnante in Parma per italiano e sto studiando, ma sempre, ma sono un po' lenta. E anche sono in Italia per 2 anni. No, it should be better by now. I studied Muay Thai and I actually competed in it as well. I was competitive. I had 6 fights and I won 4 of them, so not a bad record. And I think it kind of shows that my character is definitely someone who likes to compete. Competition is really important to me, especially one-on-one. I was terrible. I played all of the team sports and I was terrible at all of them because I'm really uncoordinated. So then when I found poker, I was like, oh, thank goodness, because you don't have to be that coordinated to, you know, look at cards and throw chips around. So yeah, but it's really, I understand it in a way, I think, because of the Muay Thai and because of having been, I worked in television in Muay Thai as well, so it was very male dominated, and it's a place I'm comfortable in. I think I grew up loving games, and I played a lot of cards growing up with my family. I lived in northern Alberta in Canada, so it's very cold in the winter, and there's not a lot of television, and you know, we played a lot of games. So I did play some poker growing up, but for me, poker, I kind of lost it for a really long time, and then I became involved in backgammon, but that was through work. I got a job hosting a TV show about backgammon and learned how to play, and I played the World Series of Backgammon, which is crazy because I didn't even know that existed, and it does, in Monte Carlo, and I played a doubles event in the World Series of Backgammon, or the World Championships. And from that, a poker TV show in England saw some work I did on the backgammon show and were like, hey, do you want to come and learn how to play poker? We need someone to be on the show, to host the show, but who is a novice, so that they can ask all the questions that someone who doesn't understand the game could ask. And I was like, that's perfect for me because I don't understand anything. And so it was actually through work that I got back involved in poker, but I've always played games, and video games, and board games, and card games, and, you know, all of that. So for me, it felt like serendipity, like so right to finally be making a living from games was like, this is what I was meant to do. I think outside of America, I only lived there for a couple of years, and it was more for work, really, and I liked it. It was interesting, but I did not feel connected to the country at all, and I found it really difficult to understand how to live in the States, which is weird because I grew up in Canada. But from Canada to England to Italy, it felt like there was this really common thread. I understood each country, and it felt like I belonged to each country. My grandmother was Italian. So she spoke Italian, and my mother understood Italian because she didn't speak very much of it growing up, and then she lost it. But our house was full of things that they'd brought from Italy when they immigrated. It was full of Italian food and kind of this really idealistic view of what it meant to be Italian. So for me, it was interesting to actually see what it was really like to live in Italy and to understand. And I have an Italian husband and an Italian family now. The older I get, the less I feel separate from my job. I think when I started working in television and growing up in Canada, I grew up in a town with like 600 people, surrounded by nothing. So, and I was kind of a weird kid. I liked playing games and I read a lot of books and I wasn't very social. So for me, getting a job in television is so strange, and I love it, but it didn't quite feel like me. And I like being behind a microphone and doing the interviews. I'm not as comfortable being on this side of the camera, or I wasn't really, because it is more about me, and I didn't like that. I like my job because my job is to ask the questions and to make people talk about themselves, right? That's what we do. So being the one talking is strange. But then I started blogging, and it felt more natural for me to write about things that were more personal or things I actually believed, or, you know. And lately, in the last year, I've become a lot more clear about things that I think and believe online, You know, I get in fights on Twitter all the time now, so so I'm being a lot more real. Yeah, it's scary, but I like it.